Hey guys, I thought we'd do a follow-up and give you an update as to what's happening with all the technical problems that I had yesterday. And I also want to touch upon the benchmarks for the 2080 and 2080 Ti. Now, as far as I know, I don't think there's any mining benchmarks out just now. I don't think so. I've had a quick look, I couldn't see any. But I want to talk about the gaming performance and just see how hopefully that will translate to mining and maybe give us an idea as to what we can expect. From the technical point of view and the technical problems I had yesterday, I did a video yesterday about this, and basically there was a storm in the UK, and when I came into the house, my internet wasn't working in my office, and I had a lot of other kind of weird technical problems, like the audio wasn't working correctly on my audio interface on my computer. I think it was being caused by my Ethernet adapter or switch or something, and I also had a problem with my monitor. It was flashing on and off. I'm not sure if it was because of a surge in electricity. I do use surge protectors, but one of my motherboards seems to have died. I think it died anyway. I tried everything to try to get it to work, but I returned it to Amazon today. Now, as far as the internet problem, which was probably the bigger issue, because I did have a spare motherboard. The internet problem, I connected this laptop, and I tried my other one as well, and I connected up to the power line adapters in my office, and no problems whatsoever. So this pointed towards a problem with the Ethernet switch. And for whatever reason, the Ethernet switch wasn't working. It wasn't providing a valid IP. It's a Netgear product. It's a Netgear switch, and you can see that it's there. It's ready to go. I actually stood in the post office there. Stood in the post office, which is like the local shop. And I stood for 15 minutes. And when I got to the front of the queue, the woman said, "Oh, I can't handle the post office, all that stuff. You're going to have to come back in 20 minutes. So, still there. But I've ordered another one, slightly more expensive. Hopefully it's a little bit better. When I get that Ethernet switch tonight, hopefully my internet problems will be away. Because it's a little bit of a pain. All my rigs are down, and I was hoping to do a live stream today, but I just couldn't because I don't have internet upstairs. So yeah, when I get the new Ethernet switch tonight, I should be able to do a live stream for you guys, perhaps tomorrow or the next day. But I want to talk about these benchmarks. So there's gaming benchmarks out, and basically these benchmarks have actually been tested and reviewed there for a few weeks. But most of these review websites and all the YouTubers have been on, they've had an embargo, which basically saying here you can have the product early, you can test out these products, you can test out these graphics cards, but you can only start posting benchmarks on this day or that day. It's basically how it works. It's quite common in the tech world. Now here, it's got Monster Hunter World, and it's got the average frame rate. And for a 1080 Ti, it's got 74. For a 2080, it's got 77. And for a 2080 Ti, it's got 97. And for a 1080, it's way down at 55. Now, this kind of performance seems to be quite common across all the different tech websites. This one's TechSpot, and if I go to this Eurogamer, you've seen the same thing here. It's got the 1080 at 35, 1080. So this is which game is it here? AC Unity. This is Assassin's Creed at 4K. It's got the 1080 at 35, the 1080 Ti at 48, the 2080 at 49. So that's 1 frame per second higher than the 1080 Ti. And the 2080 Ti is getting a whopping 63 frames per second on 4K. So, yeah. And I'm seeing this. So, which one's this? This one's Tech Radar. 2080 Ti, 151. 2080, 141. For that game, it's 121. Slightly different results from the other website. For another game, what we're seeing here across all this is that the 2080 Ti is the best. It's better than the Titan V. But what we're seeing is the 2080 is basically giving game performance that's basically 1 or 2 frames per second better than a 1080 Ti. Essentially. Seeing the same thing there as well. Well, it's a little bit better there. 20 frames higher with the 2080 there. And then there, 52 for the 1080 Ti, 59 for the 2080, and 74 for the 2080 Ti. I was briefly talking to Nollis about this today. He was telling me about this, and there are some games where the 1080 Ti has actually performed slightly better. So it does seem to depend on the game. And perhaps over time, what we might see with these graphics cards is that you know, the performance could be better with the 2080 and the 2080 Ti once the developers put out an update that takes advantage of, you know, what these cards can do. But I'm not here to talk about gaming. I'm not here to talk about gaming. I'm here to talk about mining. But there's no, I haven't seen any mining performance results as yet, and I really want to look at the results, not just over one day, but look at someone, you know, messing around with it and optimizing it and seeing what they can do over the next few weeks. If the performance of the 2080 and 2080 Ti follow, you know, what's happening in the gaming world. So if we look at the FPS as a guide as to what's going to be like with mining, then say you get 55 mega hashes per second with Ethereum with a 1080 Ti, maybe you'll get 57, 58, 59, maybe with a 2080. And maybe with a 2080 Ti, you could be talking 65, 66, 70. Now, all of this is just guesses at this point. I'm really just using that as a guide. And it's important to realize that gaming isn't always the only indicator as to how good a graphics card is. Graphics cards are also used for encoding and video editing and all these different things as well. And it's important to realize that the 1080 Ti has actually got more CUDA cores than a 2080. And maybe that will transfer into better video editing and faster video encoding. So maybe from a video editing point of view, we might see the 1080 Ti, you know, perform better than a 2080. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud here. That could be the case. And perhaps if that is the case, maybe that's what we'll see in the mining world as well. Maybe, you know, if you get 55 for a 1080 Ti, maybe a 2080 only does 53. I'm not sure yet, you know, I'm just guessing and I'm just kind of reading between the lines. But if we follow what's happening with gaming performance, the 2080, which is the one that's going to retail about £750 in the UK, basically around the same price point as the 1080 Ti was last year, maybe a little bit more expensive. But if that follows, then the 2080 isn't going to give any significant upgrade over the 1080 Ti. But the 2080 Ti is an absolute beast. It is killing all the games that it's performing. And if you look at all the benchmark results, it is the best graphics cards out there. So it's the best from a gaming point of view. But you can't talk about the 2080 Ti without talking about the price. You know, it's like I think it's £1,100 in the UK, it's $1,200 in the USA. It is an absolute beast of a card, but it's also about twice the price of a 1080 Ti. Interesting, what I'd like to see actually, you know, is, you know, they're doing all these benchmarks between the 2080 Ti, the 2080 and the 1080 Ti. What I'd like to see is the gaming performance of two 1080 Ti's in SLI and see how that performs against a 2080 Ti. Because if you look at the fact that you could probably buy two 1080 Ti's for the price of a 2080 Ti, perhaps even, you know, save some money in the process, I reckon that two 1080 Ti's will give you a better hash rate and a better, you know, better mining performance than one single 2080 Ti. Now, of course, with two different cards, you know, with two cards instead of one, you're going to be using more electricity. So this is something you need to factor in. A 2080 Ti will give you more performance, but it's also going to use the same electricity as a 1080 Ti. So two 1080 Ti's against one 2080 Ti. It's all good saying that you can buy two for the price of one, but you do have to take electricity into consideration as well. Now, unfortunately, because of the technical problems I've had, and because it was my friend's 40th and my brother's over this weekend, I won't be able to do another video about the mining performance if the results do come out the next few days, unfortunately. And I've just had a new phone delivered, so I need to, you know, get that tested, do the videos for it for my other channel. But I did want to do this video because all the results are out there for the 2080 and the 2080 Ti. And we're going to see more benchmarks coming out. We're going to see more results coming out. And then I'm sure we're going to see a lot of mining tests and a lot of you know, benchmarks from a mining point of view, from a hash rate point of view. And you might find that the 2080 and the 2080 Ti might not be as good as a 1080 Ti or a 1080 in certain algorithms. But in other algorithms, it could be absolutely amazing. It could be really efficient. Time will tell, you know, because it's important to remember that when I'm talking about mining performance and hash rates, there isn't just one hash rate in one, you know, algorithm. There's a lot of different algorithms. You might find that the GDDR6 or X6, you might find that memory performs really well with something like Ethereum, but it doesn't offer any more performance than other things. Maybe this is where the CUDA cores of the 1080 Ti improve over the 2080. I don't know. Time will tell. But if you're interested to see what these cards can do from a gaming point of view, then have a search for 2080 benchmarks or 2080 Ti benchmarks. You'll see all these all these bar graphs and all that, and it'll show you how they're performing. But my guess is that a 2080 is going to perform very similar to a 1080 Ti, slightly better in some aspects. But it could be behind in some algorithms as well because it's got less CUDA cores. It could actually be not as powerful and not as efficient as a 1080 Ti with some algorithms. But we'll have to wait and see. Without doubt though, if you're looking for the most powerful GPU, the most powerful graphics card for mining, the 2080 Ti will be that graphics card. But is it the one to buy? Well, that high price point has to be taken into consideration. So if you're looking at buying a 2080 Ti or multiple 2080 Ti's for GPU mining, you have to take this price, the price into consideration. Also, look at GPU mining profits right now as well. It's not great in the UK because of the low profits and electricity costs, but if you're in a region with low electricity, maybe you want to go for the 2080 Ti. But if you are looking at buying the 2080 Ti, I'm not going to stop you, but look at how it performs against a 1080 Ti and a 1080 and see whether buying multiple 10 series cards is better than buying one or two 20 series cards. Time will tell. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate all the support that I got from you guys yesterday when my office went crazy with all this stuff breaking. Motherboard and Ethernet switch have died. Yeah, I appreciate the support, guys. Appreciate all the advice. And hopefully I'll be up and running upstairs very, very soon. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the 2080 and 2080 Ti. If any of you guys have got one or have ordered one, please let me know. I'd love to speak to you about this, and hopefully we can determine how effective these cards are from a mining point of view. Until next time, take care.